Hello, hello. So, major Let's Talk to go over a bunch of information around this logo right here, Twitch. So, Dan Clancy, the CEO and the showrunner basically of Twitch, he went on and did a hour 7 minute live stream, as you can see over here. We're going to jump around through the live stream a little bit to listen to maybe roughly about 6 to 8 minutes of all the stuff, the discussion that he was talking about. He was taking actual live chat questions. I have my note sheet here of everything. So essentially, this was what prompted this live stream was the fact that they just had a bunch of layoffs for Twitch. Every single tech company is going through it right now. Between the economy and all the hirings that happened during COVID, every single company is starting to downsize because they just can't afford to have everyone on staff and on the payroll, which you'll end up hearing that in this live stream and stuff here. So yeah, let's just jump right into the first thing that he was talking about, which again, we're gonna just jump between a couple different talking points that he was going through, and we'll just jump off from those.
And I think what happens on Twitch is important, and that's why we need to make sure when we run the company that we're running in a way that is sustainable over time.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is, in terms of making the decision, we were bigger than we needed to in terms of the size we needed to be to service your needs. It's something that it's not just since COVID, and this is not unique to Twitch, that in fact it's quite common for tech companies to size their organization thinking about where they might be in 3 or 4 years. And of course,
Okay, so what he's going into right there is like it's not because of COVID, which partly is it, so it's sort of true. So there is one part truth to that, and one part that he is kind of covering up. That's it's not the ones that are running the company now. It's the ones that were running the company before. The ones the few people that's just retired from Twitch. I don't think I really want to go into names so much. There's two. There's one. I mean, the former CEO Emmett Shear, everybody knows. He was the one that was behind a lot of hiring practices and such, and it seems like from what I've seen of him talking on social media, and now what we're seeing happening behind the scenes of Twitch, it seems like Emmett basically what what his big fault was at Twitch was he just during the COVID thing, and every single company did this. It's not just Emmett. That's the reason why I didn't really want to bring his name up, but it's like it is mainly kind of his fault. The reason why all these layoffs happened is because he basically overstocked the company. Same thing very similarly happened with Twitter when Elon took over. He let go. He was, it was down to like 20% of the workforce, and they end up saving a bunch of money in the long run because of that. Now, on top of them just over hiring, then you also got to look at their current economy and everything underneath Biden that is going on right now. So when you mix that with overstaffing, yes, you're going to have a downsize one way or the other. Again, it's like Dan is saying here, but it's like every CEO has been saying, like they're all these companies are downsizing to meet their basically their profit margin, their revenue margin of where they're at now. So again, it really sucks seeing people who do have a passion for the platform and not just there to not just to do a job, but to do a job and really want to see the platform grow and everything. That's what you want for Twitch. That is 100% what you want. You want more people that are sitting there like, man, if we can make this feature happen, we can bring more people in, we can get more eyes on the platform. That's exactly how the platform should be run. Which it seems like at first Dan came in just being like, well, it's just another job. I don't know if I can do this. There's some stuff that he's saying in this live stream that we're also going to jump into here, where it's like, okay, I think he's starting to kind of get it of Twitch culture and the way that Twitch should be operating. But he is still kind of learning at the same time. So I think when he jumped on, he definitely went into the wrong direction with the company of like, because he was saying the thing of like, how, oh yes, it's like theater or whatever. And it's like, well, No, Twitch is not theater. It's a technically it's almost like a live show. It's a live broadcast. I mean, that is really what you're doing. You have a show like it would be on a TV network or something, but you are doing your own personalized program on the platform. And if they can bring in sponsorship deals and they can they can get you in with partnership deals and everything else, and that's awesome. Everybody makes money. Both the platform is making money because of the sponsorship deals with giveaways and such. The chat's making something. You're making money. You're also making money for the platform because of the sub revenue splits. We'll get into that also.
Need to run it sustainably, but I'll be blunt. We aren't profitable at this point. Amazon has been extremely supportive of Twitch, and a big thing for being sustainable over time is ensuring that we don't lose money. And that's a big part of my job because that's going to be what makes sure we can be here for long term. We've been very clear about the importance of our efforts to try and continue to provide more resources to streamers. We did that with
Okay, so very quickly here. So him coming out and bluntly saying that they have not been profitable, that's very good in transparency. And you would not hear that from, say, Kick. You would not be hearing that from a YouTube or anything. The only other place I have actually heard this from was once again business calls around the whole Twitter rebranding to X and them trying to bring live streaming into the X platform, trying to them bringing in sponsor or ad revenue deals into the X platform and them doing all that. So similarly with Twitch, the transparency there is great to see. It's they are. Dan is straight up saying, like, yes, we have basically screwed up with Twitch and we need to course correct. And it's so basically Twitch has been going through kind of a learning curve of like, okay, so we had all this business and profits up here and now all of a sudden it's starting to dip back down. So how do we course correct? Well, we need to bring in more features, which is the next thing that he's starting to go into here.
Depend upon Twitch and the money you make from Twitch. And so we're very focused on continuing to grow Twitch and continuing to make Twitch the place it has been for so long.
Now, when he says to continue to grow Twitch, my biggest hope for Twitch is so the stuff that has already happened with Twitch over the years of growth has been, well, a lot of it's like this call organic growth, not something where it's like, oh, you do a deal over here and all of a sudden, because you did this deal over here with another website or you paid this celebrity to come on to the website to have a live stream and it brings in a bunch of viewership and then all of a sudden the viewership just isn't there anymore because the celebrity's not there anymore. That's not organic growth. That's just like basically paying for growth that doesn't last in the long run. And this is something that we have seen on Twitch already. But when you have the organic growth of you have, the thing that's built Twitch up so well over the years is that you have these special moments. You have, you have actual creators on the platform that are actually looking to create not only the community, but also to create the platform to be bigger. So then it's basically, they look at Twitch as their workplace. It is the platform that is their workplace, and it's not just the platform that's spoon feeding them money. And that's what a lot of the biggest streamers or this last, like, I want to say, it's kind of since the 2020 boom with all the COVID stuff boom of, all of a sudden, you have these streamers that have been they've been growing on Twitch, but they're using Twitch as a stepping stone to get to another platform. So whether it be an OnlyFans, whether it be to get to Hollywood, whether it be to, I'm not saying there's anything bad with them opening up their own brand of stuff and doing all that, but it's just the fact of, you should be also trying to leave the platform a better place than where you found it in that aspect. And again, that is something that comes with organic growth of, yes, you're coming in, you're getting your stardom, you're getting your fame here, and then all of a sudden you have these major streamers and really even mid-tier streamers too, and they're like, I want a bigger split. I don't want 50-50. I don't even want 70-30. I want a 90% split. And it's like, well, then where is the money coming back? Again, this is something I've talked about multiple times over again, made videos on it and everything. But where is the revenue going to come from to make sure that the platform grows bigger? So then if you want to come back to live stream, that the platform is even better than when you left it. Or you incorporate that fame somehow into the platform, so then you create a whole nother genre that is not just money grabbing but actually something creative, to make sure that, oh, there's more people that can do this, this content, other than it just being a hot tub thing, which is literally that whole trend, all these trends that everybody says, that whole thing is there just to basically farm money from viewers, which is that is not what Twitch was made for. It was, the whole money part of this, of making profits off the website, was initially so you could actually upgrade your setup, so then you could have a better camera, you could have a better computer, so you didn't have frame drops, so you could have higher resolution on your camera, on your capture card, on your gear that you're using. So it would go back into the gear, and then once you got your setup to the point where it's like, okay, I don't need to upgrade anything, maybe for a year or so, then you'd have that extra money to put into another business venture, like t-shirts, like merchandising deals and everything. Again, I've talked about that stuff over and over and over again also, but it's just, and this is where I'm talking about the culture of Twitch, where it's gone through a bit of a change, where instead of it being kind of business oriented and creative oriented, it's just about just making profit, just make a bunch of money and then leave. And again, that's the reason why Twitch is in the position it is right now. So what Dan and everyone else that is running Twitch, what they need to do is they need to start getting Twitch back into that organic growth, to get everything back into which I think, because Twitch is basically downsized now, and we've seen it on viewership numbers, we've seen it now on staff numbers and everything. Twitch is kind of organically just starting to shrink a little bit, and you're probably going to, that's the reason why. You're probably going to see more streamers of your top streamers leave the platform, but that's the reason why some of these people who have gotten their stardom, again, I'm not going to name names, but there's certain streamers that have gotten their stardom, and now they've left and gone to other platforms. They've left to other business ventures. They stream every once in a while on Twitch just to, make sure that they're still building. It's kind of a poaching mechanism, in all honesty, the way that they're doing it, because they're still streaming on the platform to get possible new viewership off from Twitch, to bring it over to another place where they can make more profit in a, dare I say, a sleazier way. Yeah.
But I think we're still going to see a lot happening in 24 that you'll be very excited about. I know there's a lot of enthusiasm with some of the stuff that we talked about at TwitchCon. Our focus is on making Twitch the best place to live stream, the best place to build communities, because the foundation of Twitch are the communities that you and all the streamers here create. So,
which again, also the community that the streamers create is definitely, I mean, that's part of the marketing scheme for Twitch. It always has been, but there is a lot of truth in that too. The problem is the communities that the top streamers have been creating is, they're fostering communities that are just not, they're not great communities overall. Like the communities are not, the communities are kind of just there to make memes instead of actually make moments. If that makes any sense, of like, instead of it being like, oh, Twitch chat just helped this thing happen, it's more or less, Twitch chat is just acting out like a bunch of little 12-year-olds in there and all. And that's where, again, that's the whole reason why we've had Twitch mods over the years. We've had, different incentives for Twitch chat to come together, to work together on certain goals and everything, is to make sure that it filters out everyone who just doesn't care to be there, but they're just there to troll. And that's, it's like the bigger streamers, that's the other thing that they're fostering too, is trolls, the memers, the bots. If we can get rid of that, then we bring Twitch back to being, it's kind of like those special moments that we've always had in the past.
Gonna just ask, is Twitch currently at risk of getting the axe by Amazon? And the answer is emphatically no, not at all. Amazon is very bullish on Twitch. As I said, they've been investing heavily in Twitch. It is fair to say that Amazon, much like many other companies in the tech space, and I know for many of you, that's not the center of where you live, is evolving how they think about running the company in terms of resources. We've already seen today some other announcements come out, again, not just.
Okay, so when it comes to whether or not Twitch is going to get dropped by Amazon, so the reason why Dan is saying that there, that emphatically no, they're not getting dropped. So yes, Amazon has put a lot of money and resources into the video live streaming landscape, but also encoders. So if Amazon has invested so much money into encoders, why would they drop Twitch? That would be basically they'd be dropping their whole investment in to try and push out there, because if Amazon can push out encoders and they can actually get the eyes on Amazon in that way, where it's like all of a sudden, okay, AV1 encoding, everybody's hearing about this, but nobody really understands exactly what it does, what it is. You're going to have a million videos explaining it over the next few weeks, of course, because all the news articles and everything. But then again, that's where your news articles come in. So therefore, Amazon, if Amazon is leading the way with Twitch's encoding broadcaster, Twitch, Amazon-owned Twitch is helping lead the way for AV1 encoding. That makes Amazon look really good. Whether or not they're making profit off of Twitch, it still makes Amazon look good. So of course, they're going to keep Amazon underneath the umbrella, that they own them and everything. Of course, also the other flip side of that too is they see how much Twitch is trying to work on itself, and if Twitch starts becoming very profitable, all it takes is one good year and a lot of good word of mouth, and all of a sudden Twitch is like top tier, most profitable company in the world. Amazon wants to have a piece of that pie, of course, so they're not going to drop Twitch. That makes 100% sense of why Amazon would be like, well, let's just keep, let's just stay here, keep them on board, let's keep working with them. Let's see here.
What was about Amazon built much. In fact, I think this move puts us in a position where, as we grow, we need to make sure we to have streamer-led events. Those are we've been evolving Rivals over the last few years. In general, we find that it is more effective to have streamer-led events. Those are the ones that the audience usually engages over the last few years.
Okay, so the next point that he's going to go into is about Twitch Rivals, and there was something that came out of the Kick CEO, what's his name, Trainwreck. He came out and said, well, maybe because they did let off, so Twitch let go some of the Twitch Rival developers and the I think the event the event organizers. And Trainwreck basically went on to Twitter and said, well, we'll hire you guys to make, the Kick version of, make it Kick Rivals or whatever. But I think Twitch still actually has a one-up on the competition when it comes to event organizing and tournaments and everything, because as Dan is saying here, is that Twitch is letting the streamers, instead of it being just like, Twitch made this event and the streamers have to go with all these rule sets and everything else. So I have seen personally, been, in the chats and everything, when Twitch Rivals has done events for fighting games where the organizers are the streamers themselves. They are the fans of the game putting something together, and then Twitch actually helps with Twitch Rivals program of bringing in the sponsors and bringing in the prize pool. So then you have a game that is, say, 10, 15, 20 years old, and all of a sudden there is like a $10,000 prize pool, which is like, that's actually decent money for an old game that is not part of, say a big event, like an Evo, like a League of Legends championships, a Call of Duty, championships or something. And to see that, Twitch is actually bringing in a sponsorship deal to help bring in that prize pool, and then it's fully run by the people who are fans of the thing that want to run they know what is best for the competitors because they have been competing online in the game and all that. That's awesome. I think that right there that's a big plus for Twitch in that book of like, I don't see YouTube doing that too much. And Twitch could actually use that momentum there along with, all the encoding options. So then the talking points actually went to a very interesting direction of, how many streamers have been around for 10 years now, because Twitch is over 10 years old. If you add in the years of Justin TV on top of the years of it being Twitch, yeah, you have 10 plus years of possible streaming legacy or lineage, whatever you want to say. So this was kind of an interesting talking points.
To fund their lives. And that is how they pay their rent. That is how they pay their utility bills. And I want live streaming to be a career that you can do for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. And in fact, there are many live streamers that have been doing this for 10 years. Someone like CohhCarnage has, I forget how many kids he has, but I think it's 3, but I could be wrong there. And this is his life. He had a different life before, but this is his life now.
Which, again, it's like, I'm pretty sure Pokimane has been around for, if not 10 years, almost 10 years. Maximilian Dude, that's one of the ones I started watching. That's what brought me into Twitch to start watching Twitch streams. I know of Cat Gun. I know of, like you said, CohhCarnage. There's a bunch of the OG streamers, as everybody likes to call them now, that has been around. I mean, they have been streaming for about as long as I've been making content on the internet, which is kind of funny. But to hear Dan go into, like, there is a lot of legacy to those streamers, and that he wants to make sure that the platform is still around for the next 10 years, for the next wave of OG streamers. That is a good thing, that at least somebody is looking towards the future of Twitch, and not just being like, okay, how much money can we make right now, but is this going to snowball into effect of growing the platform in the long run, other than just a quick buck right now? Because that is definitely something that you end up seeing with a lot of the tech companies, is they're like, okay, so what's the newest trend? What can we make for the top buck? And now we got to figure out what the next trend is. And then they start chasing that trend, instead of saying a trend of, like, okay, so, there's these really cool meme videos that are happening that are getting circulated on social media. The reason why there's certain, the reason why TikTok took off so well is because TikTok was setting certain trends, and then that would circulate onto a Facebook, onto a Twitter, onto an Instagram and such. And all of a sudden, TikTok just started getting more viewership, because they started, oh, well, that's where the trends are being started, is over here. So I got to start making content over on this platform over here. So again, when it comes to Twitch and live streaming, live broadcasting, that is something that Twitch has already done in the past, of setting the trends and actually making something that is, whereas. So basically, if you think about it, G4 TV, Twitch is like the next evolution of G4 TV. Back in the day, we didn't have too much other than maybe Spike TV that had the Game Awards on it. G4 TV was the gamers, TV network. When that started to go under and YouTube took over, then all of a sudden it was like, well, you started seeing a lot of YouTubers with a lot of problems, because they're very edited. They have edited content. Then Justin TV started taking over. That transitioned into Twitch. So all of a sudden there is no editing. There is no cutting through. The video is live right there. And that's what set the trend. So now, again, when it comes to like a TikTok setting the trend, everybody's attention span is so damn short. And this is one of the things that where Twitch needs to they need to get that momentum back somehow. And it's not going to come with, with streamers that are just like, oh, I'm making my money and I'm leaving off into Hollywood or an OnlyFans or some other company or whatever. Again, that's the reason why. That's the reason why we haven't seen Twitch kind of evolve past what it was 4 years ago. We've had kind of a stunt in growth on Twitch of, what can Twitch be made into? You just haven't had those big personalities on the platform.
But I think about running the company. ultimately, my number one priority is make sure we serve the creators that are there today. So if you take a creator that is funding their life right now through Twitch, they of course want to grow, but they're sending their kids through school right now, maybe. They're paying their rent right now. They want to make sure they can keep doing that. They would like to be bigger. They'd like Twitch to be twice as big. It doesn't need to be twice as big. What it needs to do is continue to serve the communities that are there as we continue to try to expand Twitch to reach more people. I personally believe the live streaming market and community-based live streaming, as I often talk about, is a fraction of what it will be one day. And I want to keep investing in making that reality true. But the reality doesn't have to become true, because what Twitch is today is incredibly special. And I think this, interestingly, is a mindset that is a little odd for Silicon Valley. Oftentimes you have companies that all they focus on is growth. And I think we're different, because ultimately growth is hugely valuable, very excited about it. But we have something really special right now. And we need to cherish that. We need to do things that make things easier for our streamers, even if it doesn't mean it grows the platform. And we need.
So again, what he's alluding to, but he's not saying it, is the organic growth. That it comes back to that once again of like, you don't. So everybody's sitting there like he just said there is, he is hitting a nail on the head with everybody wants the platform to be bigger. Everybody wants their paycheck to be bigger. Everybody wants the viewership to be bigger. Everybody wants everything bigger, bigger, bigger. But the problem is you got to grow it to be the bigger platform. You got to grow it to be the bigger profit. You got to grow it, and not just have instant success, overnight. All of a sudden you are the top streamer, the top guy on the block. No. If you do that, it's just, it's going to be very short term, and it's not building up the community. And that's also where Dan is getting into it with that, is as Twitch has grown over the past, 10 years or however long Twitch has been around, it has been the influx of, all of a sudden people want, they want to spend their New Year's with their favorite streamers. They want to spend their holidays, when a streamer goes live for a big Christmas special, they want to be there for that Christmas special. They want to be there on New Year's in the chat with everyone, being like, Happy New Year's and this and that, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Halloweens and this and that. So when they have a birthday, everybody's all like, hey, happy birthday, and throwing cakes in chat and all that stuff. It's that type of moment. It's that type of growth and engagement that made Twitch so special. And that's what I feel like a lot of your top streamers, it's not Twitch, it's not the it's not the company of Twitch, it's the top streamers that have gotten away from that. It's the ones that people are celebrating, that they, and they're making into these famous stars of Twitch and all that. Given these people that are the celebrity that don't really, if it's their birthday, that's one thing. If it's a chat, somebody in chat, they just skip over it. They don't even care to acknowledge it sometimes. And again, that's something that is, there is one part of the chat where it's like, okay, if it's somebody's birthday, awesome. If they're coming in saying, something that's happening personally in their personal life, no, that stuff usually stays out of chat. But it's the celebration, it's the event of something, or if somebody is going through a tough time, everybody's, like, hey, sorry to hear about that or whatever. And then all of a sudden, then you bring it back into, well, let's have a good time, for the hour or two or 6 or 7 hours that the person is live for. When a game releases, you have a big release event, launch night, happens, and then everybody's in there and everybody's sharing that experience of like, oh my God, this thing happened. When there's a concert going on or something, and everybody's in the chat being like, this is an awesome concert. It's those moments that really make Twitch what Twitch is supposed to be.
So it is the fact that we do have enhanced revenue share for a class of streamers. And as I've said, it's something we'd like to continue to lower that threshold. Part of that is because with the resources we have, we're very focused on making sure we can benefit those people that are depending upon Twitch for their livelihood. And that's the priority we have as we are able to make more resources available. Um, how did Twitch losing big streamers to other platforms affect revenue? Dragon Techie, not much. There's always some effect. But in general, what we've seen happen is it creates opportunity for other streamers. Because in fact, for viewers, viewers have a number of channels that they watch, a number of streamers that they like. When they get home, they want to relax, they turn Twitch on and they see who's live. And when a big streamer leaves, then what we've seen is often they go to that next streamer and they find new affinities. Now, that's not always true. Some people predominantly watch one streamer, so there's certainly an impact. I can tell you the cost of retaining those streamers would have been far more than the revenue generated from them. And that is something that we've been very clear about. We don't want to do that, because the only way to do that then is to have this unbalanced where we make up for that on smaller streamers, and we don't want to do that.
So again, he is legit saying that the streamers that are asking for a higher revenue split, that are asking for these bigger paychecks in a bigger contract of a 90-10 split and such, what that is doing is that is hurting the platform overall. So it makes it so that they can't push out new features to smaller streamers, because all the money revenue is going to your top 1%. For all these streamers that are complaining like, well, I should be getting every single, the revenue split that I'm getting is ridiculous. Why am I giving 30% back to the platform? Because you're trying to make sure that Twitch doesn't just go under. You're trying to actually make sure that we can grow the platform to have, it's not just for smaller streamers, it's for them also. It's for everyone, so everybody can actually have a better experience, whether you're watching the platform, whether you're streaming on the platform, whether you're big, whether you're small. It takes the revenue going back into the platform to be able to upgrade the processors, to be able to upgrade the servers, to also make sure that Amazon doesn't go, this is not making us any money, it's losing us a bunch of money, so why in the hell should we help you guys out? Because sooner or later, Amazon is going to do that. They are going to look at Twitch and be like, I don't know about this platform. So that's pretty much everything that I wanted to showcase from Dan himself. But I actually I've been thinking of a list, and I've been coming up with this list sort of the last probably 3 or 4 months now of what can Twitch do to help itself in the long run to make it, because I mean, if you've been following my channels at all, I haven't actually really streamed on Twitch in about a month. It's not that I don't want to stream on Twitch, it's just kind of I can't. The encoding settings that, I'd say about half of my streams when I was going live on Twitch on the regular, back when I was kind of full-time streaming, half of the streams would be I'd say if I streamed 8 times in a week, maybe 5 of those streams I'd have encoding settings if I'm lucky. But as soon as there was a big all these streamers are getting on Grand Theft Auto, or there's the Game Awards is happening, or there's some event happening like a Summer Games Fest or something, and there's 1 million people on the platform, boom, you lose those encoding settings. So the encoding settings for all encoding options, the way that they are setting that up with the encoders being able to do where you can have the 480p 720 1080 basically guaranteed on your channel because you are rendering it yourself. That is a very good upgrade. That's probably one of the biggest upgrades that we've had, where it actually is going out to everyone. And that's another thing that I would definitely highlight also, is that we've had this thing where Twitch is like, okay, if you're a partner or affiliate, you get these options. If you're anybody else, which is the majority of everyone that's streaming on Twitch, you don't get anything. And the way that Twitch was built and the way it brought in, again, organic growth, was that when there was a new feature, it was first beta tested with the affiliates and the partners, sometimes only with partners. and then it would roll down to affiliates, and then finally the full product, maybe it'd be alpha tested with partners, beta tested with affiliates, and then it would roll out to everyone. So then everyone got the benefit, and Twitch was basically, and I think when you stopped seeing that happen was when people started asking for a bigger split of the revenue. And again, it just comes down, it's just common sense business wise of like, yeah, Twitch doesn't have the money coming back into it to be able to make this available to everyone. So the reason, and this is where I'm just like, it doesn't make any sense to me why people, I think it's just because the creators turned into influencers. And this is like a very bad thing that ends up happening of when creators get so big or the money starts rolling in, they become influencers at that point. And they start to say, well, I'm not getting my money, so all my fan base go attack that company. We've seen that with multiple different companies. You know, YouTube went through it also. Twitter will probably X will probably go through it also at some point. But Twitch has been going through that over the last, like, I want to say year or two has been really bad with that stuff. Like there was a whole, trend of like, well, everybody just drop Twitch, cancel your contract with Twitch, get out of your partnership, program stuff and everything because they don't want to give us a bigger, revenue split. But then they're also complaining that, I should say, then there is a bunch of streamers that are agreeing with that mentality, but then they're also complaining that they don't have encoder options on their streams. So another thing would be, I'd say, spotlight more gaming and creative stream. So the categories. I think we need to reevaluate the categories that we have on Twitch. I think that is something that has been really needing to happen over the last few years. So anything that is gaming related, of course, that's what Twitch was built on. It's always been supposed to have been a gaming platform first. I think if we get back to it being a gaming platform first, it would actually probably help Twitch in the long run, just because gaming it's like 90% creativity. There is some people that will use a game just to try and be like, okay, I have my camera as half of the screen. I have the game as maybe a little less than half the screen or something. I have the chat up here or whatever. I'm not talking about that type of a gaming stream, but if for launch nights, like I said, for competitive online stuff, for co-op nights, for community nights, charity stuff and everything, gaming, again, this is the reason why Twitch was, it grew up so much, because you could do all that stuff with and around gaming, role playing and all that stuff with Baldur's Gate and everything that we've seen. That itself has helped grow the platform a lot. Also stuff like like art, or if somebody's building a game, that should be spotlighted. An actual art, not body art stuff or whatever. But like if somebody's doing like animations or 3D model rendering or level design building, or even drawing anime or something, or all that, and actually putting some creativity into it instead of just like standing there in front of a camera writing or drawing on them. It's like that's not exactly creative. Theater productions also, and podcasts, yes. So theater production, so that's a very niche thing. Very few people actually have the money enough to do like a full-on theater production, but I've seen a few of them on Twitch, and every time somebody does that, it's super fucking cool. It's just one of those things that is just like, man, I wish more people would do this, but it's very expensive to do stuff like that. You have to have a big enough space to be able to, and multiple people hiring on to do all that. But I think those productions, anything that is like a theater production, I think there should be something equivalent of a Twitch Rivals to sponsor and support that type of creative event like that. I think that would go a long ways to help out stuff. Also, podcasts. Podcasts are huge. If you have a live podcast and not censor anything of the podcast, which that's one thing when it comes to DMCA stuff of music censorship, it's almost non-existent on Twitch, although there is a lot of rules around it, but they let a lot of stuff slide. So I'd say go for the same thing with podcasts, and also have something similar to a Twitch Rivals that helps, promote and sponsor podcasts. it's a huge genre. Who would have guessed? Conversations do very well in an online space where multiple people can come in a chat room environment, also in a live dialogue discussion situation, and it does very well. It just, again, it's like one of those no-brainer things. I would say also, so the genre, so to counteract what is going on right now with the trends that are getting Twitch into hot water with probably potential sponsors, they love to say that whole thing of like, oh, well, nudity and stuff doesn't limit sponsors. Then tell me why on other platforms companies don't want their ads run next to lewd content. But then you're going to try and turn around and say, and this is one of those things where it feels like Twitch is actually somewhat lying in a sense. Maybe they have data to show otherwise, but I have yet to see that in practice on other platforms that actually do put their data live. So I don't see why it would be different for a Twitch versus other platforms. Every single piece of data that comes back that shows on the little stat sheets and everything, it shows that if companies see their ads next to lewd content, aka hot tubs, pool streams, shower streams, body painting, maybe sleeping streams, all that stuff, the ad rev companies are going to back out. They don't want their ads around that stuff. We've been saying this for years. We have seen it again on other platforms where this is the case. It just doesn't make sense why Twitch would keep allowing that stuff. What I would say is they don't need to get rid of it, but they definitely should like shadow ban it in a sense. If other platforms can shadow ban certain speech, why in the hell can't they make the algorithm make it so that hot tubs don't get shown in recommended feeds? That hot tub streams, pool streams, body painting streams, the whole 9 yards like that. Anything that has potential of lewd content in it or nudity of any type, limit the outreach on that on Twitch. Is that so hard to do? Is that so much of an ass? So then we can get actual creativity back into the main spotlight, and then that genre of content can be over here while we actually have the main stage over here for creative, creative projects, creative streams, creative minded people to actually do creative things that people want to actually, the majority of people actually want to see. So when it comes to all this, 50-50 split, 70-30 split, 90-10 split, one thing that is very lucrative and is very eye-catching of the YouTube space, especially YouTube gaming and live streaming, is the fact that you don't have to sign a contract with personal information. As far as I know, you only need to go into Google AdSense and sign up with that account, which is basically just an email address and a password, and then you can have a Google AdSense account, which therefore any ads that gets run on your content goes into that Google AdSense account. Why don't we have something like that on Twitch? Sure, okay, if you want to make the partner program where, if Amazon wants to keep the partner program where you have to give a social security number and you have to give all your personal information for tax stuff and everything else. Okay, but why can't we just do an AdSense program similar to YouTube where you don't have to do that when YouTube is already doing this? They have something in the legal books where they're letting that get away with that, with the PayPal the PayPal working with AdSense revenue. So why in the hell don't we have an AdSense revenue type of a program where Twitch should be working with Amazon to make something like this? I mean, Amazon already has their own programs. So it's ambassador programs to where you can make money working with Amazon in that fashion. So that just, again, it just seems like for some reason Twitch hasn't gone that route, but it seems like you could make so much more money that way. I'm not an expert on the whole AdSense revenue game when it comes to how it works with the business side of things. I know how it works with content creator making revenue off from the AdSense thing, but yeah, that just that would be a very a very good patch notes or something to go into. I'd love to see that be talked about, or especially with Dan, for him to come on live stream and actually go into why that would or would not work, or if they've actually tried to implement something like that, if they have discussed it with Amazon. Yeah, that'd be a very interesting conversation. Now, to bring it back to chats, and one of the big issues that I've also seen, and one of the reasons why I just feel like I just want to get away from live streaming now, is chat bots. We've all seen them. We've all dealt with them. Something really needs to be done over the next year about chat bots. They come in and there is an AI program chat bot that will try and have a conversation with you, but then it just starts harassing you about Discord and wanting to make art for you. And then that's, I guess it drives you, it tries to jump into a Discord channel with you to try and charge you to make art for. It's just the weirdest thing. That needs to be settled out. They need to figure out some way of clearing that. You can ban them all you want, but they still come into chat like little pesky roaches. It's ridiculous. There needs to be another wave of live streamers that bring the hype back to gaming moments, that bring the hype back to, having, whether it be creating art and having like an art gallery or something, creating music and doing like a live show on Twitch, creating theater productions where it's very creative and there's a lot of people that are a part of the production and all that. I think that's what there really just needs to be another wave of those creatives. And if we don't have a wave of those types of creatives, and it's not just, OnlyFans girls using the platform to try and promote that stuff. It's not just and I just the other night I heard, well, what does it matter whether what clothing a girl has on for her self-worth? And it's like, it's not that. It's the fact that you're fostering a bad community. It's the fact that you're bringing in trolls. It's because trolls are going to look for that content. And if you're bringing in trolls and they go into somebody else's stream and they start up a ruckus over there, and then it turns other people into wanting to make a ruckus, because that's, it's that kind of ripple effect of just that culture and that mentality of, I'm going to come in and harass somebody just because, for, whatever reason. That fosters that in a ripple effect of, oh, now that's the new trend. And then that just turns into everybody wanting to have their chats on basically follower only mode or sub only mode. And then we're just going to, that's what that's going to end up turning into. It's like, I've dealt with that myself of like, oh, there's a bunch of bots that are just hitting my chat. So I don't care to have the chat open to everyone. I will now only live stream with a follower only chat on. And even then I get bots that go into the DMs and try and, just get me to click on their little links for their Discord stuff over there. So again, it's just that if people don't see how they are making that stuff end up happening and bringing in people that are like, oh, well, screw it, let's just troll the hell out of the platform, then we are in a very sad state when it comes to content creators and actually making entertainment instead of just, haha, I messed with somebody today. It seems like Twitch overall, there is a lot of good that's happening, but we need to clean up the streamer side. It's so much like chat will clean up as soon as you clean up the personalities, because that's the number one thing that we've learned over the years when it comes to live streaming and video making is the community is always a reflection of the content creators. Whether they are actually a content creator or not, that's that's what you're going to get, of a reflection of that, because you're going to foster that community. You're going to foster the trolls. You're going to foster just the people that are wanting to put memes all day, and if their joke don't get over, then they're going to turn mean about it because they're offended that their joke didn't get over. It's that type of mentality that you need certain types of creators to be in the spotlight, not on the pedestal, but in the spotlight of like, hey, this person's doing something really cool over here. They have a very good community. And the ones that I've seen be spotlighted by Twitch so far have not been that. It has been the ones that clearly, I mean, it's very clearly because they've gotten in trouble for different things. We always go through this like wave of careers where Twitch is spotlighting them because the algorithm is showing that these are the most, favorited people. And it's just because they're doing a bunch of, drama stuff. They're doing stuff that is going to get them in trouble in the long run. If they get in trouble, and that's another thing, the reinforcements on Twitch. That's it. We need different reinforcements happening to where people, if you do something that makes the platform look bad, there should be severe reinforcement, because that is everybody's workplace is being threatened because one person did one thing, and that's reflective of everyone else. That's just the way the world is now, which it sucks, but that is the reality of the situation. So if you have your top spotlighted person does something that creates a bunch of chaos IRL, again, they should just be dropped. Like, don't even. Yeah, it's ridiculous. That stuff is ridiculous. Where there's no reinforcement. But if somebody just barely does something and it gets somebody gets mass reported, then the enforcement team has taken action on that. That's so backwards. That is a very backwards way of running everything. So it seems like, again, features wise, and the way that the vision of Twitch seems good. It seems like a positive. It's now the behind the scenes, like I said, the reinforcement and stuff, but also the behind the scenes on like what the algorithm, maybe a change in the algorithm of some kind, maybe also again, who makes front page, who gets spotlighted at TwitchCon. That stuff needs a major overhaul. There is a handful of people that are at TwitchCon that are spotlighted that are very good content creators. They're just, they're having a good time. They're doing good entertainment on the platform. But there is also a handful of there is a handful of streamers that are making an ass out of themselves, and that needs to be addressed. Until it gets addressed, Twitch is going to still have this downward, cycle of just dramatic stuff happening. So, and it's not gonna be good in the long run for, like I said, when it comes to profits and such. We've already seen it happen, and we are seeing the blowback of it, or the last like 2 years. So let's bring the ship around and actually get it back on track of where Twitch was 4 years ago, before the 2020 COVID stuff, and these new kids coming in, making an easy platform, or making an easy community that is once again making a bunch of, trolly chat members that are just, just thinking that is the cool new trend to do. Anyways, so over here on YouTube, this video it's a Let's Talk. It's over here on YouTube. I will say though, if I can get transcoding to work, and I can have 480p, 720p, and 1080p, to end this video out, I'll just say, if I can get those options up on Twitch on a guaranteed regular basis, I will start multi-streaming again over on the Twitch. Because again, I do miss Twitch. I spent 7 years over on Twitch. It's been a great time. I was almost there from the beginning. It took me a couple of years to figure out like what the hell live streaming was and what Twitch was and everything. And plus, I also didn't have a setup for probably the first like year 3 and 4 of Twitch being a thing. I didn't have a setup enough to be able to do it. So again, I've seen Twitch go for, like, I had heard of Justin TV. I had seen Twitch in its early stages, even though I didn't know what it was. And it wasn't until like I said, about 3 or 4 years in, where I was like, okay, I'm actually going to sit down and start watching some live streamers. And then like a couple of years afterwards, I started streaming myself. So I have seen like the growth, and I've seen the evolution of what the platform is and what it can be, and where it is now. And again, we're just in a bad spot right now because you have certain talent that is making it in that bad spot. It's not even so much Twitch itself, I don't think. It again, no, I could be wrong on the behind the scenes of Twitch. It could be a very big, just a big Joe over there. Who knows? Because again, it's kind of hard to tell on a day-to-day basis unless you're there in the offices. But from what we've seen and what we're hearing there, I think there, like I said, there's a couple really good things that Dan is saying in there. It seems like he has decent intentions. I don't think he knew how to go about doing what Twitch is meant to be done, if that makes any sense, when he first got in there. Anyways, if you liked anything of this, YouTube sub would be very appreciated on the channel. If I get the encoding options, then I might start going live over on Twitch, along with, I want to do like maybe 2 streams a week. Not trying to be going full on live streaming again, but it would be nice just to be able to go live on Twitch again, because I built up a following sort of on Twitch also, which is like, it's like I have 250 some odd followers over on Twitch versus almost 500 on YouTube. And yeah, again, I would love to just get back over there. Plus, also, when it comes to music wise, you don't get DMCA striked every 2 seconds, and you're not, censored every 2 seconds like you are over on YouTube. So there's a very different mentality when it comes to handling content on the 2 platforms. So, again, I gotta say the YouTubey stuff, like, sub, and all that good stuff. And I'll be back with more Let's Talks in the very near future. It's probably been a very long video. I'm gonna try and edit it down as much as possible, but I feel like there's just so much information. There's so much to talk about, go over with all this topic of Twitch and where it's at and where it needs to go. And I do mean needs to go, because if they don't change something, it's going to be a very slow death for Twitch. They're not net positive, and their profits are not in a good spot. They're spending more money on the platform. I think them getting rid of the whole spotlight of like, oh, well, we need this top streamer over here because they're going to bring in the big bucks and we're going to pay them top dollar. If they're getting away from that, it's going to balance out, it's going to balance out the profit and revenue share for Twitch by a lot. So, so it's good news. It's good news on the Twitch parts. We just need to see more good news. And again, some readjustments in who is on the platform streaming, or what gets spotlighted on the platform when it comes to streamers. So anyways, gonna wrap it up there. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. And as always, I will see ya next time. I got the wrong hand. See ya next time.